Yeah, I'm good.
Lightspark, Rhett, are you here?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're live. Sorry about that. We had some minor technical difficulties. I did want to just say we just got a $100 donation from Rocker, which put us over $4,000 for the event. Wowee! Whew. So that was great. That means there will be a special announcement by me tonight. Right before the start of the Banjo-Kazooie run, there will be a special Speed Docs announcement. That also means that you're going to be doing the chimney and furniture skip 5 times. So, yeah, if you want to see him do it a 6th time, get in there and get your donations in. But now I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let Batfish introduce himself and his commentators. Take it away.
Okay, so I am Batfish, and Lightspark and Rhett are my commentators. So this is Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy run. But I'm going to, so if anyone here is aware of how Getting Over It works, there's a snake towards the end of the run. And pretty much if you go down that snake, it'll send you back to the beginning. So if I were to just go through the game and complete it instantly, just like no snake, then it would probably be like a little over a minute for the run, which is pretty short. So for this run, I'm going to be going down the snake 8 times before I finish the game. And so for the incentives, every lap I have the opportunity to do chimney skip and furniture skip. And so I have to do it 5 times now. So every lap, if the incentive is reached more times, then I can do it up to 8 times. And so Lightspark and Rhett, they can introduce themselves now, please. Let's start with Rhett.
All right, well, hello. I am Rhett. I'm one of the older players in the game, but I mean, you know, more importantly than me, we got Lightspark, the world record holder himself, along with us to give a bit of commentary towards the run.
Yeah, hello, this is me, Lightspark, known on speedrun.com as Blastbolt, and I am very excited here to be talking about a game that I have spent so much time into and love quite a bit, as I'm sure Rhett is as well. That's for a good cause. Hoping that's that we can help out the kids this event, and we'll see how Batfish does.
All right, so I can just hop right into the run. So for starting the timer, I'll do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I am starting.
And I mean, this is going to be very interesting, because I'll just take the beat and say it. Chimney skip and furniture skip are really interesting incentives, because they are not something that speedrunners practice whatsoever.
Yeah, I might mess them up. So here's chimney skip coming up right here.
Yeah, so usually you're supposed to go to the right, but Batfish is going to go over to the left side of the rock here. And now,
yeah, and what you saw there was a negative pull. Oop, messed up.
Ooh,
but it's okay, I'm not going to fall.
Yeah. So the run's actually going to be probably a minute longer than it would be under normal circumstances, possibly even more, because these skips are just not something that speedrunners do, but they're a lot more interesting. So that's why it's an incentive goal.
And a lot more than a lot interesting. They're a lot more difficult. Like, even people practicing constantly will fail these over and over again. So if you would like to see your veteran pro speedrunner embarrass himself a little, then donating is definitely
so
the right idea.
Go from the left side. It's easier from the left.
Yeah, I know. There we go. Finally got it. That was pretty bad. Normally it wouldn't take me that long. I'd usually get it in like 1 or 2 tries, but
yeah,
I'm a bit rusty right now.
The rest of the run's going to be a lot more smooth from here on out. As you can see, man, zooming. I mean, you ever seen something like this?
All right, here's furniture skip coming up. Normally I'd go towards that little staircase thing.
Yeah. So here you have to do some big Superman jumps.
All right, got it. That's the main like difficult one.
Now the rest of it should be smooth sailing. But as you saw there was an orange on a table and a set of sheer rocks. Those are pretty common to fall off of, and I predict that batfish is probably going to slip just at least a couple times, because even for speedrunners, it's quite the tricky area. So I'm going to predict maybe 2 falls total. What do you think, Rhett?
I mean, look, okay, I don't want to be the one who has too much optimism here, but batfish, he's been going at it too long. You know, he's done many sort of events like this. We've seen him again come in with iron nerves of steel. I think he's gotten used to this kind of pressure, and I don't think we're going to see him fall at those kind of sections, but I do worry for him about those incentives, because I know he was saying before we started here, he has not been practicing too much, so going into those will be very interesting, but I'm hoping we'll see a competitive time out of him regardless. Looking at that, he just absolutely nailed that skip. And this game is not very skip heavy. If you look towards some of the better runs on speedrun.com, it is a lot of fluid motion, so we'll not be spending a lot of time this run talking about the mechanics, because this game at its core is very much philosophy based.
Yeah, but if we are to talk about mechanics for anyone who's not super familiar, this is not your average, click and points or move and jump platformer. As you may have noticed, this guy's just using a hammer. Oh, and there we go. There's a fall. Anyways, he's just using a hammer to control this whole thing. You move your mouse in circles or squares or triangles, whatever floats your boat, and you try to go up this mountain using contact points and momentum from this device here. And the controls are extremely unnerving, which is kind of the point of the game. It's meant to be frustrating. As Bennett Foddy said at the start, I made this game for a certain kind of person, to hurt them. So yeah, right. You have anything else to say about the mechanics?
Well, I mean, the mechanics, yes, they're designed to be frustrating, but also there is a very much elegance towards them. The reason that speedrunners are able to master a game like this and take it to a peak perfection and play for thousands of hours is because it's very much a game that is hard to learn and even harder to master, but perfectly set out. It will take a while to get a grip with it, but once you do, you learn the intricacies of it, and once you get more familiar with how things are put together in the game, it starts to click. And then that additional layer of, wait a second, this is actually easy, but that next level is a little bit harder, sort of forms. And I think that's very representative of the best kind of games that we'll see here at this charity event here today, that they're just very beautiful, beautiful mechanics that you can get a hold of almost within hours and then take them to the very extremes.
Yeah, and one of it is actually being able to, part of it is being able to wield the mechanics themselves, because a lot of beginners have this issue where they're like, oh, why, I just flew a million miles away, how did that happen, this game sucks. But that's actually a mechanic called the pull pogo that beginners don't know how to utilize. But you see this furniture skip here where batfish is doing these huge jumps, he's utilizing that mechanic to his advantage, and that's what speedrunners know how to do, using all the little quirks that make this game impossible and infuriating at the start, to actually giving you speed that you never would be able to use if the mechanics were just, normal and linear. But because of all the interesting acceleration that the hammer can give you, you can go really fast and do some pretty insane movements at parts.
So talking about parts, we're coming up down to the third run. It looks like batfish is deciding to throw off all of his skips into the first 5 snakes, which, I mean, I feel like is fair enough considering the further you get onto a run.
If more incentives come in during the run, like if we reached 8 and I didn't do one for a lap, then that would be pretty unfortunate.
It would be, but the nerves, they sort of grow over and over again. We've seen sort of competitions for this game in the past where batfish has performed in. We've seen a lot of people get the nerves straight to their head coming up on the last few runs here.
Batfish is actually getting over at World Champion, the first ever tournament that was held. His team won by a hair. So he's no amateur to these kinds of stressful situations with hundreds of eyes on you as you do laps on this game. But another interesting thing I think we should talk about is the whole philosophy behind the game. What really is it that hooked so many speedrunners? And overall, a single word to describe the game is counterculture. A lot of games are based around giving you instant hits of dopamine, you know, checkpoints, and just having a fun time. This game is not meant to give you a fun time. This game is meant to make you work for something, fail and fail over and over again, and then feel some kind of success at this whole journey. Not success strictly in terms of you necessarily making progress, but you feeling that you're improving, that you're getting better, and that you're putting in the work, and that you're failing. And when you finally beat it, it feels good. You've earned it. You've worked for it. And that's the very basics of it. But there's a lot more nuance that the creator of the game has put into the story behind this game.
And I mean, I think the nuance is interesting because if you take this game back
whoops,
to where
I didn't do this chimney skip. I gotta go back.
Well, you don't have to, but
yeah, I'm gonna go back and do it.
I mean, it's very easy to lose focus because this game is sort of, you know, it's a minute long, all in all. Sections like this, they're done, they're swept by, they're not thought of whatsoever, and you get into this very habitual state.
Yeah. And speaking of not being thought of, you may have noticed that so much of this mountain is just built out of basically trash. You have rusted cars, you have, there's like a hot tub, you have toilets, bed frames, all sorts of random stuff thrown together. And what the creator of the game is trying to show with this is how in the modern day, that's pretty much what the internet and what culture is. It's a bunch of just trash. Like we find things for a few seconds, you know, they're fresh for a bit, you know, memes being an example of this, and then we forget about them almost instantly, throw them away. This is like the ash heap of creativity's fountain, as the creator of the game says. And he wanted this game to be the exact opposite of it, of that kind of culture. He didn't want it to just be something easy that you can churn through, because, you know, why bother making something, you know, difficult or annoying if people are just going to just burn through it in a couple seconds. But he didn't want to live with that mindset, so he built something that would make people need to persevere and actually think, not as opposed to, you know, the mindless scrolling on TikTok that is so prevalent nowadays. This is the exact opposite of that. At least that was the intention.
And I mean, I suppose it's a bit interesting because if you look at this game, where it very much originated from was a very, very dumb Flash game, which was just meant to hurt people. Just very much an ode to hating yourself through and through, taking some very janky MS Paint pieces and, you know, making sure that somebody is not able to enjoy the game that they've put forth, which was, you know, for 2003, similar to some concepts, but never before seen. So seeing a philosopher's take, and very much a philosopher because the creator of this game does actually teach philosophy at a New York university. So seeing that kind of approach from a philosopher, a game designer, onto something which is really like, you know, a true through and through troll, I suppose, is very interesting, the kind of takeaways that you can get from that.
Yeah. The original game, by the way, if you guys want to look it up, which I recommend you do, like not play it necessarily, but just like see some images and a couple clips of it. It's called Sexy Hiking. And you're going to look at that and you're just going to be like, what the hell is this? Technically, that's called a B game. That's what the creator of this game calls it. I think it's an actual term. It's just a bunch of like, you know, games that are thrown together just for the joy of creating. And that's kind of why he wanted to make this game. And kind of related to that, one of my favorite quotes from this actual game is, invisible mountains build themselves from our efforts to climb them. And that's kind of the whole thing that he was trying to, that's the whole feeling that he was trying to capture here. Like you're actually climbing a mountain, there's an actual goal, there's a purpose in front of you, even though it's just your computer and you're moving your mouse. But your brain creates a challenge, and in that it gives you some kind of fulfillment and purpose.
Alright, so as far as I know, I'm free from the skips for now.
You are free from the skips, but you, the audience, can change that. Get that $50 in.
Yeah, save the children, make batfish suffer. As you can see, a lot more smoothly flying through that section now that there are no skips. Oh, you guys get to see the furniture lamp.
Or I get to see, you get to see the other route, the normal route. So the skips are like technically faster for like a task, but like people, like it's hard for like a person to actually do it faster.
Yeah. I will say all of the world record individual splits are done with the skips, so humans have gotten to the point where they can harness them, but only...
It's not consistent.
Only with perfect optimization. And actually, I'm pretty impressed with how Batfish has been doing. No, not a single orange fall, and sure, there have been little mistakes pretty much all over the place, but more or less, the big falls have been very limited, and I would say for someone who has barely even seen this game before, you guys are getting quite a nice slideshow of what's contained within the map and the kinds of movements that top-level speedrunners have to offer.
That really is what you expect when you bring the world record holder to commentate for your game. It's like, yeah, he's doing all right, but he's messing up kind of everywhere. You can see these tiny little mistakes again and again. It's like, okay, dude, I feel like he's doing pretty okay. We had a little prediction at the start. He's not made any significant falls. I would commend him. Yeah, okay.
I'm not offending. I think he's doing great. I'm just saying that,
Except
like, of course,
for all of the little falls he's picking up here and there. Okay.
Yeah, can't you see how badly he's doing? Jesus. No, he's doing great. Also, this is the part I was talking about, like, majorly, where everything here is just a bunch of trash thrown together. I mean, it looks aesthetically pleasing, like it was done with an eye for detail, but it's just showing here. It's just the ash heap of creativity found, to use that phrase again. Also, a fun fact about this game, it was actually rendered in 3D, even though everything is two-dimensional. If you really go into the game's files and you look around in the assets, you can see everything from a three-dimensional angle, which has led to there being a virtual reality version of this.
Yeah, I don't think that the person who made it released it, though, because of, like, copyright reasons, I think.
Yeah. There's a YouTube video out there by someone named Codium, apparently the biggest YouTuber for this game.
Coming in on the last lap.
Yep. So guys, you guys are going to get to see the end of the game for the first time here, the final lap.
Hopefully I don't screw it up, because what happens in like these kind of marathon snake runs is like you're doing the rest of the game, so you get pretty like unrusted at that, but then you don't do the end at all.
Yeah.
So I might screw up a bit, we'll see.
The end of the game is notorious for being pretty much like the hell zone of both speedrunners and beginners in many ways. All three of those splits have like dense records of many people failing over and over again and raging, especially the very final segment, which to beginners is not a big issue, but to speedrunners is pretty much the worst place out there as far as PB chokes. PB chokes
if you get a bad launch into the space, which you'll see what that means in a moment when I get there, you'll see me launching into the space. You can just get like this really bad launch sometimes where like it takes forever to actually be able to push off the asteroids to go up.
Yeah.
I think the sort of mantra for the end of the game is just, it is RNG. I think speedrunners
it's not
love to throw out the
technically
term.
RNG, but like everyone just calls it.
It's not at all, but everyone loves to say, it's just entire RNG.
Like the precision to like always consistently get a good space is not something that most people have.
Wait, Rhett, weren't you like super consistent at space when you played a lot? I feel like that was kind of one thing about you.
I mean, what can I say? I am kind of the greatest to ever do it, but we're not here to talk about me obviously better than yourself. We're here to talk about Batfish and celebrate him taking an absolute Chad space through the end, and if he doesn't follow through on me saying that,
let's see it.
I'll be ashamed in him.
Alright, that's a decent launch.
Pretty good.
But we're more than comfortable with the routing that he's taken straight through. He'll go straight to the end of the game here. 15 minutes, 20 seconds. Absolutely respectable for going through the game. What is 8 full times, essentially.
Yeah, there it is. 15 minutes.
Yeah, also, if you want to see what's beyond this screen, you'll have to beat the game.
Yeah. It's a secret, trust me. The first time I saw it, I was, sat there with an open mouth for about 3 hours straight.
Wow. I don't believe that. It's not that interesting.
hey, they don't need to know that.
All right. Well,
Awesome.
yeah, that's the run.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything you want to say before we get you guys out of here?
Nothing from me. Maybe Rhett or Lightspark do.
Yeah, I think...
Don't play this game. Please do not play this game. Do not touch this game.
I think everyone should touch this game. Speedrunning it is a different question. That you have to be a certain kind of person to enjoy that. But I think trying to beat it, going through it, getting the whole experience of trying to enjoy failure, I think that's always worth it.
All right. Well, thank you so much. That was a great run. Thank you to everybody that donated for those incentives. We are going to take a quick pause for the cause. We're going to pay some bills to keep the lights on and make the Twitch ad gods happy. When we come back, we'll be getting ready for our next run, Fallout New Vegas. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.